Today on Homeworthy, immerse yourself in the opulence and glamour of Art Deco design. Explore a stunning array of geometric and animal prints, shimmering silver and gold lamps, and luxurious velvet and chrome furniture. These homes have it all. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Natalie. Welcome to my K-Town Chateau. Hi, I'm Natalie Wong. I have a background doing meetings and events as well as marketing, but I am currently a producer for a streaming platform at Disney. So we are in Koreatown, just on the southwest side. So this place was built in the 1930s. It's French Normandy style. You'll see a lot of other homes in this neighborhood similar in architecture. We're in the living room now. This is the showstopper. This is the space that made me fall in love with this place. And it's become this collection of things I've been collecting from estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores, antique stores. And I think finding these unique pieces is really what separates a house from a home and makes a home very unique and personalized. So come on through and I can point out some of my favorite things. This fan up here is actually an Amazon purchase. So that is just a nice statement piece I like to have in the center of the space. So this piece here, I found it on eBay. I'm starting to become a little bit more intentional with these little like trinket things I have. So I might have that be a catch and release where I found it and now I can like resell it. Not necessarily good bargains, but you know, I'm a treasure hunter and I'll like look anywhere for anything. Back before Facebook Marketplace and like OfferUp really exploded, I was also searching for things on Craigslist. I did a lot of Craigslist searching and there was an artist who was like based on the East Coast and he was like selling these prints on Craigslist. And his name is Josh Young. He's based in DC. I just thought it was kind of like a fun little interpretation of, you know, like the French Versailles aesthetic. And he just has like really fun art. And now he actually has collaborations with like CB2 and he's a big deal. So check him out, Josh Young. The ceramic leopard, I scored that off of a lady from OfferUp that used to belong to her mother. And this Moroccan poof came from my trip to Marrakesh for my 40th birthday a couple years ago. And the coffee table here is actually from the Rose Bowl flea market. So one of my earliest acquisitions when I was starting to decorate and furnish this place. So I like to collect little small objects when I travel. So this lighter, that's not working right now, but purely decorative. I got that from a little antique shop in Dallas. And then this little green piece I just love because it's like actually made from glass. And if you look down here, like the seller would have a little story back here on who made it. And so it's amethyst glass and I just think it's like so beautiful. But yeah, that's what I do. I like to collect things when I travel just as like a souvenir of my adventures. This bar cart back here is from David Arquette's estate. So I won it at an auction, and obviously it's vintage, but definitely one of the hero pieces of my home. These Press for Champagne buttons are actually made by a wonderful young lady named Lisa. She's based in Austin, but these are, at this point, I think, like kind of world famous, that she has a little storefront. You just purchase them online and they sell out within a flash every time she launches a new set. So Press for Champagne. Oh, so Roger Moore, I mean, he's just so classic. And, you know, being just like 10 minutes away from Hollywood, I just wanted to have a reflection of that like old-timey Hollywood glamour vibe. And I think Roger Moore in this like James Bond shaken not stirred portrait just kind of like captures the essence of what I'm trying to create, something that's like very glamorous, very Hollywood, very old school. So about 6.5 years ago, I was in the market to buy an apartment, and I was focusing mostly on the west side of Los Angeles, but noticed that all of the apartments there were highly coveted, and I was just getting outbid by everyone who was, you know, maybe a very affluent parent trying to get their parent into UCLA, or like a young newlywed who was recently pregnant, because I'm like walking around all these different open houses and there's just like pregnant women all over, or young students and their parents going to the same open houses. And I decided to look outside of the west side and came to Koreatown. This place was actually listed and featured on Curbed. But for whatever reason, it was sitting on the market for a while. I think it was just overpriced and nobody was really here looking for properties. They advertised it as a 3-bedroom, which is pretty sizable. And you'll see in a second how large it is. But I just walked into this living room and I mean, it was not furnished. The walls over here were completely covered in mirrors. It looked like a gymnasium. But I fell in love with it because you see the French doors, the crown molding, the tall ceilings, and it was basically love at first sight. So totally top secret that all my plants in here are fake. Obviously, we don't have like the same type of sunlight as would be recommended for large plants like this in here at all times of day. So these are all plastic plants that I've been kind of collecting. So I think they're a nice feature. The light fixtures next to the plants, those were also purchased from various folks from Facebook Marketplace, as were these chairs. So as you can see, it's just kind of like a hodgepodge of things I've been collecting over the past 5 years. This credenza, I believe is a Drexel heritage piece, but my friend Rhett found it for me. I believe it was also on OfferUp, so secondhand to me. And I had to borrow a friend's car, and my mom was in town that day, so she came with me on this field trip, and we brought it home, and my dad was here, and he was not super happy about this, but I feel like at this point, my friends and family members are just like very gracious about indulging me with helping me schlep things home, letting me borrow their cars. So I'm very grateful for them. And I think this is just a perfect piece for this space. During the pandemic, I kind of became this accidental influencer, DIYer, content creator, and I couldn't afford an actual frame TV. So I went to the hardware store, bought molding, and framed the TV. And I've watched other content creators and bloggers do this, but basically it's just a long piece of molding that I cut into 4 pieces and nailed together. And I do have a tutorial on my blog, but this is not the actual Samsung frame TV. It's just a Samsung TV that has been framed. So the pillows were a happy accident. They actually came from like Anthropology, CB2, House, and when you're putting throw pillows together, it's kind of hard to like figure out how they can be cohesive. So what I did was find a through line, And what that is basically I picked jewel tones. So you see the purples on purples and the greens on greens. And you just, you know, kind of make it work. And I just threw them all together one day and I was like, huh, that really works out well. So there they are and I love it. This huge painting over here is actually from another estate sale, and I was one of the last people to walk into the sale, and it was 80% off. So I got it for something stupid like $100, and I didn't realize how much of a screaming deal that was until later when I realized that, you know, framing it alone probably would have been like hundreds of dollars. So this behemoth of a mirror, this Grand Dame, I bought it from Howard Elliott Designs, and I had two girlfriends come over and they were supposed to help me bring it upstairs because I wanted it in my bedroom, but they dragged it up the stairs. We opened the box and we got very unmotivated to like move it up the stairs. So we leaned it against this corner, and that was another like accidental decorating thing where it just kind of like lives there now, and it's become a statement piece. Well, another statement piece in this living room. This room used to have track lighting, which was quite popular in the 80s, I believe, and also horrible. And even my, 70-year-old dad was like, that needs to go. So away it went. I had an electrician come remove the track lighting, and then I had bought this lucite ribbon chandelier from a lady on eBay, and she was based in Philadelphia. And I somehow convinced her to pack it up and ship it. And I think the shipping cost just as much as the actual fixture, but I think it was worth it. I have a similar piece in my office upstairs. It's just so charming. I mean, the courtyard outside looks like something out of Disneyland, like well manicured. I actually own the turret, so it's actually my storage space right now, so we won't let you in there, but it's a disaster. It's something that I'm hoping to work on to finish someday. But I mean, just all the rooms in this house are so lovely, and I just really enjoy my time here. So again, this place was built in the 30s. So it was like kind of during the the Gilded Age of Hollywood. And when you walk outside a few blocks, you can actually see the Hollywood sign. So I wanted to like honor that part of Los Angeles. And I kind of call this like an updated Hollywood Regency style design. My inspiration was basically Jonathan Adler and then like earlier works of Kelly Wearstler. So just off to the side of the dining room is my little kitchen. So I love this little service door here because we're fancy, and when the help, meaning me, is making dinner, I can close this while my guests are enjoying out there. So come on in. It's a little guy. Again, with the black and white theme, I actually am hoping to get this updated soon, at least the cabinets. I think the rest of it looks okay, but I do have aspirations for this space. There's actually nothing much in the fridge right now because I just came back from a long trip. But I mean, I always like to have at least wine in here with my ketchup. But yeah, I always like to have like a bottle of champagne in there because you just never know. I love a yogurt in the mornings. So that's usually in there. My mom had made some noodles, so she made me bring them back. So that's in there. But yeah, typically it's just, I live a very simple bachelorette life where I just keep maybe like some salmon in there and some salad mixings. Growing up, I've always been kind of a hippie, so sustainability is very important to me. And I really love to go treasure hunting for secondhand items, especially for my home and also my closet. So a lot of things you see around here are from flea markets or thrift shops. I feel like there's just like way too much space up here, and I wanted something above my bed, but being in California, we don't tend to put things above the bed for earthquake reasons. The last thing I want is something heavy falling on my head, you know, in the middle of the night if there were an earthquake. So I bought another fan. I think that was also from Amazon, and it does fill the space. Eventually, you know, I think I'm gonna change things up over there, but it'll do for now. So I was on my way to a wedding and had some items I wanted to pick up from like OfferUp or Craigslist. And this was one of them, being this amazing acrylic or lucite palm chandelier. I got it for a screaming deal of $5. The man who sold it to me had advertised it as a Tommy Bahama inspired chandelier, which I think is why people were kind of turned off by it. But I zoomed over there in my wedding outfit and he wasn't home, but I paid who I thought was his daughter because she was this little 5-year-old, and I dashed off, and he messages me as I'm like in my car driving away saying he's sorry he missed me because he heard that I was cute. And I just had to think, you know, like the lengths that us women have to go through to like just pick up a freaking chandelier on Facebook Marketplace only to get hit on. It's like crazy. So those shoes came from a thrift shop when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina with my friend Shauna. And I thought they were cool and felt that I could just wear them around the house. But it turns out they're made from like really flimsy cardboard. So the moment I walked around in them, they just like fell apart. So they're more decorative than anything else. So these nightstands, another Craigslist find, it came as one, and I went to pick it up, and the woman said, I actually have the second one, but part of the front mirror is missing, so you can have it if you want. I was like, yeah, giving me like his twin for free, I'll take that. So I did, and then spent, you know, maybe $100 to get a piece of mirror replaced on it from a local furniture store. So this trinket box is also from my travels to Morocco, and I just like to use a lot of black and white in my home kind of as a through line to make things consistent and to show a common theme. So you'll notice that a lot of my rugs are like black and white too. This door needs some work, but I also painted this in black and white. Again, a trompe l'oeil effect. So this was just paint and some painter's tape to help me get the lines straight, but I had a little oopsie here that'll need to be retouched. The fireplace was a Facebook Marketplace find as well. A young lady and her partner were moving, so I saw it, and I think they named her Regina, but when I bring things home, I actually love to like stage it and take a picture and then send it to the previous owners, and they're so appreciative because so the woman who shipped them to me and sold them to me had no concept of how FedEx works and how you should probably package things, especially breakable things, very carefully. So when they arrived to me, they were shattered in like 100 pieces, and that was like an inadvertent DIY project where I basically had to super glue them back together. So they lived up here. One day I was moving mirrors around my house, and this piece, which is an anthropology mirror, was moved from downstairs, and I hung it on a really tiny hook, and I left for the day, and I get a really frantic text message from my neighbor who heard a loud thud and asked me if I was okay, and I was like, what are you talking about? I come home, and this mirror was like completely shattered on the ground, and this dog was another casualty. So this was like the second time he broke, poor guy, which is why he has like a hole in his head. So I've, you know, joked about maybe giving him a little top hat or like baseball cap. Stairs, and I hung it on a really tiny hook, and I left for the day, and I get a really frantic text message from my neighbor who heard a loud thud and asked me if I was okay, and I was like, what are you talking about? I come home and this mirror was like completely shattered on the ground, and this dog was another casualty. So this was like the second time he broke, poor guy, which is why he has like a hole in his head. So I've, you know, joked about maybe giving him a little top hat or like baseball cap. So another feature of this bedroom that I love is this outdoor terrace. When I moved in, these French doors were actually sliding doors. I was looking for French doors to replace the sliding doors with, and this lady who was basically rebuilding her house in Venice had taken down her house to the sticks and had all these doors available. So I got the doors for $90 and then hired a carpenter to drive out there to pick them up for me and install them. So voila, now we are outside, and I basically furnished it like a little Moroccan jungalow. So the furniture was secondhand, and then this table was from a garage sale up by where my parents live, and then I had to like figure out a way to drive it down 400 miles. But I think it was worth it. It definitely needs some help in getting refinished. But yeah, I like to sit out here and have like my afternoon tea, or to work from here, another fabulous Zoom background when I'm in here for meetings. My design style is, I would call it curated maximalism, a little bit of boho. It's just very eclectic. We are quickly walking through the bathroom because it's a mess, and it's also the ugliest part of my house. So we're gonna go very fast. All right, this is the last room I'd like to show you, which is the cloffice or closet office. So there used to be obviously mirrors on these doors, as most closet sliding doors are, and I covered it with sticky wallpaper. And this is actually what got me featured on Apartment Therapy. People go crazy over these flamingos. And again, the repeat with the black and white rugs here. I have yet to find a cute desk chair, so if anyone knows where I can find one, that would be great. But this is a Herman Miller chair that's supposed to help my old lady back, and it's been kind of like, so I'm looking for a replacement. I like to do yoga in here. Sometimes when I have an extra guest stay with me, I put an air mattress down here, or they can sleep on the day bed if it's a child, because it's pretty small. But yeah, all the furniture in here is basically secondhand, including this Herman Miller chair. This desk is actually from Target, so this is really the only new thing in here. I like to think of fashion as art, and so I thought, what better way to display my shoe collection but kind of create this semblance of like an art collection. So they're up there along with some of my coffee table books, and I just how this does kind of encapsulate the whole cloffice like vibe of combining, you know, some of my important life documents in those binders as well as shoes. So actually this mirror was picked up the same time I picked up my palm chandelier. It was from a lady, and then I think she told me that she got it from a friend who died, so that didn't make me feel great. But it hasn't brought me any bad luck, I don't think. This leopard is a friend to the tiger that was in my bedroom. And then this is another piece that's kind of chinoiserie themed that I love because, again, being of Chinese descent, I do love incorporating a lot of chinoiserie elements into my home. This chandelier is a little brother of the one downstairs in the living room. I got this from a man and had to pick it up at a car dealership where he was like getting his car fixed. My friend has the twin, so he sold me two for something crazy like $100. and I gave the twin to my friend, and now it's in her house in Palm Springs. This piece was also purchased secondhand from some lady who I think she had some bad juju with this piece because she was so happy to get rid of it. And these flowers are red and I didn't really like that, so I actually painted over it. I'm sure like people would not be happy with me kind of, you know, touching this original piece, but it just fits in with my decor a little bit better, having those be fuchsia versus red. The mirror over here was purchased on Facebook Marketplace as well. This is the turret room. So this is actually the ugliest room in my house. I'll turn the light on, but this is going to be a fun little renovation project eventually. It's like a little Harry Potter closet room, as my friends like to call it. All my secrets are in there. So for me, home is being able to walk around barefoot. Just really a place to be comfortable. And I mean, I don't know how to walk in heels anymore, especially after the pandemic. And I love having my friends over and just, you know, having this sense of calmness and safety.
Hi Homeworthy, my name is James and welcome to my tiny 600 square foot apartment in Ridgewood, Queens.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, welcome to my kitchen. So my kitchen is actually the brightest room in the apartment and it's the last room that I've actually designed or decorated. And it's probably one of the more fun rooms to me. I, again, like I mentioned, love Fornasetti wallpaper. So I went with the Arancia print, which is blood orange. Kind of gives a really fun kind of Italian vibe in here. Being in a rental apartment, I'm very limited on what I could technically do in here, but my landlady is really cool. So she said I could totally paint the cabinets. So I hired a company to come in and they painted everything. I went with this really beautiful red. I was really adamant that it was a deeper red and not like tomato red, which I hate. So it came out really good. I had them cover all the cabinets, and then even this is kind of like a built-in that's like really old to the building. So I had them do that as well, just to kind of bring it up and kind of pull it all together. Recently, I changed all the appliances because even though it is a rental, I just can't stand white appliances. So I actually bought new appliances for the apartment and I'm gifting them to my landlady. So if I ever do leave, she can keep them. But I find though with this wallpaper, it's really, really cool. You don't need a lot of artwork on the walls with this kind of wallpaper. And as a maximalist, I'm so tempted to like hang a lot of stuff up on it, but I kind of let the wallpaper do all the work. So I really keep the walls very simple now, just having the wallpaper. Like I mentioned before, I don't really love appliances. One thing I've been told about this kitchen is that it doesn't feel like a kitchen. It feels more like a living space that just happens to have kitchen appliances in it, which is kind of the vibe I was going for. So my microwave is over here, but I have all my little, again, more liquor and things like that. That's kind of the running theme in here is I have a lot of alcohol stations, I guess. And I do collect certain things. So I love the Christian Dior Casablanca collection. I've been collecting this stuff for years and I have just about every piece of it. It's been discontinued for a really long time. So whenever I come across these guys, I buy them like crazy. I have plates, I have the bowls, I have the platters, you name it, I have it all. I even have their wine glasses and everything. And again, it's like nice and pretty and shiny, which is what I really love. I love pretty things. And kind of over here again is like the area where I do, unfortunately, all my cleaning and stuff like that. I don't have a dishwasher. It's an old building. So I have to make use of what I have. I did install this guy, which is so helpful for washing dishes. And these are my everyday blue and whites. So these are like my daily plates that I kind of use. I'll eat like my Burger King and stuff off of this. Do I cook a lot? I'm really good at using the air fryer, is what I'm really good at. I also heat up my water like to make my instant coffee. Yes, I'm a Nescafe drinker. So I really don't do heavy cooking. I especially don't in the summertime because it just gets too hot. So I also, when I upgraded my appliances, I actually scaled the size down. So this is like a 24-inch range. I had a larger 30-inch, which was just eating up so much space. So I went down smaller, which is like perfect for this kitchen. So I can actually move around better. I love collecting copper. So this is all the Mauviel copper stuff. So I have lots of different pieces here that I think copper cookware is so beautiful. I wish I used it a little bit more. I should. And then this is actually built into the wall. It's like a little mantle. I believe this was a fireplace. So in this building, these apartments, they're railroad apartments. Old railroad apartments were technically two-family homes. So there's two entrances to the apartment. There is an entrance here from the into the kitchen, and then there's an entrance on the very end in my bedroom. And I believe what it was two families would live in the apartment and they would have access to each end. So this would be like the main room for the two families to cook in and use the bathroom, and then they would have their own rooms so they can keep themselves very private at the same time. It's kind of a cool space. It's great for single person. I would not want to have roommates or anything like that in this kind of setup. So over here is kind of my little seating, eating area, and it does eat up a lot of the space, but it's so important for me to, this is actually where I do all my work from. So it's just important for me to have like a comfortable area to sit at. And this is one of my first antique pieces I bought many years ago. It's a Garradon table. It's actually supposed to be like an entry table, but I turned it into like a dining table. Has a beautiful black marble top, and it's got all this beautiful ormolu detailing on it down here. And then I have one of my prized pieces. This is a Mason Jansen settee. Pretty durable. It's been kind of attacked a little bit. I have my cat Otis. This is the one piece of furniture that Otis actually does in fact scratch up, which I allow him to do that. I don't care. So he lies on this as well. And then this is, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that artist, Josh Young. I've been friends with him for a couple of years. He's a very talented guy. I really like this piece. And one of my big splurges for this year was having these custom shades made. These are Aaron Lauder for Lee Joffa, and they're this beautiful velvet. And I had them made into Roman shades. Surprisingly very expensive to make Roman shades. So I think between the fabric and then actually having them make the shades, it was probably about $3,000 to $4,000 for the pair, but worth it. I really love it. Like I mentioned before, I'm not a good DIY person. However, I'm really good with the hot glue gun, and I recently decided to cover my Apollo bust in these beautiful shells here, so it gives a little color to him. I have another Josh Young print over there as well. And then over here, this was for the longest time the area of the kitchen that I hated the most. I hate this counter. I hate the countertop. It's an awful laminate. So of course I hired a company to come in and cover all the cabinets in the red paint. And then I decided that I would skirt the counter just to kind of hide off the drawers and the cabinets below. And so I found this really beautiful, these are actually, it was a pair of curtains that I had brought to my seamstress at the dry cleaner, and I had her flip them to the side. So basically the skirt here you can see now is on the bottom, the fringe, which is carried out in my ottoman in the living room. That's the same fringe. And I had her adhere some Velcro, and then it just sticks to here. And anytime I need to access it, I just kind of pull it off like so. And you can see I did not pay for the guys to paint here because I knew that I was never going to have that exposed with the skirt. And I like it. It actually kind of adds some more color, and now I actually enjoy this corner more. And then more of my Luke Edward Hall, Richard Ginori plates as well, kind of gets everything pulled together for that kind of Italian vibe. This little guy here is not the most functional piece. It's really more for someone small to sit at, but it's a a piece I had covered, again, in more, I had some leftover scalamandre fabric, so I just had them kind of cover this to give more of, again, more of that animal print in here as well. And then let me show you my bathroom really quickly. Okay. So the bathroom is your typical really tiny bathroom. I'm really lucky I actually have a bathtub. I kind of wanted to just add a little bit of pattern in here. This is a very different room from the rest of the apartment as far as the color goes. I'm using grays and blues, which is very weird for me. But I actually found, I happen to have in my closet a Pottery Barn shower curtain that I just brought to the dry cleaner, and I had the seamstress cut it and turn it into a skirt here just to kind of hide the sink. This is kind of where my trash can and my cleaning stuff is, under here. And then I have a lot of portraits in here of Napoleon and other people, and they basically are all staring at you while you're going to the bathroom. So that was the vibe I was going for, is kind of an uncomfortable feel in the bathroom. And that's my little bathroom. Here we are in my very small, more is more maximalist living room. The room is, I think, about 14 feet by 9 feet, so it's very narrow, as you could probably see, but I've managed to squeeze a lot of stuff in it. I have to start off here with one of my favorite areas of the living room, actually probably in my whole apartment. This was a closet that I decided to give up and utilize it more for a cabinet of curiosities kind of space, basically. So this is a desk that I do not use. I've never sat at it. I don't work from it at all, but I use it more to showcase some of my favorite pieces. So I have a lot of, as you can see, taxidermy and things like that. One of my favorite taxidermy pieces is this beautiful caiman from South America. I've had him for a really long time. I have beautiful dioramas here, Victorian dioramas of birds. And I love candles. Candles are like one of my favorite things. I love diptyque candles, Cire Dawn candles, you name it. I think it's really important in a home to have a beautiful scent. When you walk into a home for the first time, you should really be hit with a beautiful fragrance. Speaking of having like a signature scent in your home, I am obsessed with these Armenian burning papers. I burn them all the time. They're so great. They're like beautifully scented. You just kind of fold them up and light them and then just kind of burn them throughout the apartment, and it just really infuses the whole place with like a really nice scent. So this is like one of my go-tos for like a signature home scent. And then really I also, if you notice, I have a lot of having taxidermy. I don't really have a lot of live things in here. I don't have plants. I have terrible lighting in this apartment. And I do love fresh flowers. I like to keep my flowers very simple, even though I'm a maximalist. So I just like very simple flower arrangements and things like that. I collect taxidermy ethically to the best I can. I will say I have some very old pieces that I'm quite sure were hunted. When you really talk to actual taxidermists, who in my mind are artists, they are really brilliant people in what they're doing. They're really extending the life of this animal that either passed naturally or in other ways, and they are keeping its spirit going, essentially. I find taxidermy to be very beautiful. And then moving over to here, this is a piece I'm actually kind of proud of. I really love Fornacetti. So as you kind of walk through here, you're going to see a lot of Fornacetti. I also really love malachite, and I love red coral. So you're going to kind of see that kind of combination a lot in here. And I really love the color red. So you're going to see a lot of red throughout my apartment. But like I mentioned before, when this apartment was renovated, they really took out all of the character and charm of the space. It's a pre-war building. So I try adding it back, and instead of adding typical molding, which is what a lot of people would do, I find other ways to add architecture. So this is a Fornacetti wallpaper that I actually DIY'd myself, so I'm very proud of that. It took me a couple hours, and I took the whole screen apart and then just used some glue and wallpapered this right on, and it just kind of gives a little bit of that architectural feel. It also kind of breaks up a little bit of the color because there's so many colors happening in here that the black and white just, I find, kind of grounds it a little bit, which is great. One thing in this room is that your eye can't really land on anything. There's so much stuff happening, which I really love, is when someone sees my apartment, every time they notice something different about it, which I think is like really special in a home is that you kind of go, oh, I never even noticed that you had that, or I never noticed that corner. So kind of keeps people guessing all the time. Cleaning in this apartment is, you would think a small space would be very easy to clean, and there's a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of dust. So I'm doing dusting constantly. I've had to create fun games to keep myself engaged while I'm dusting. So I usually take a couple shots of some Fireball and start dusting away. And I usually end up forgetting what I'm doing. But the cats are not the problem. It's just having so many things to have to kind of dust down and kind of wipe down. Especially when you have black surfaces, you can really see everything, of course. These are a pair of obelisks that I got when I was in Dallas, and they did not have the intaglios on them, so I wanted to add a little something to it, and I found these beautiful red ones, and then I used some gold leaf and just kind of gave a little shine around on the edges of it, and then just hot glued them on, and now they just kind of stand out a little bit more. And I have a beautiful lucite trunk over here as well. That was a custom made that I keep all of my Hermes boxes in. As you can see here, I have a lot of framed Hermes scarves. That's kind of something that I'm really known for. They're like artwork, of course, and they're very large. So each scarf framed is about 3 by 3. So it really takes up the whole entire wall. I have specific scarves that I really love. I love the Brandenburgs and I love the tiger. As you'll probably notice, I love animal print, so anything tiger or leopard. I'm a big pillow person. Pillows are like so important to me. I love custom pillows. I love some Scalamandre. This is one of my favorite prized pillows, I would say. If there ever was a fire in my apartment and I had to run out with something, I would take my cat, and then I would take this Hermes pillow. It's one of my favorite prints. It's the Equator print, which is unfortunately discontinued. I had a dream years ago when I was custom making my sofa that I would actually have the whole sofa covered in this fabric. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in the budget for me, as it would be about $20,000 for the fabric to be able to cover the sofa. So I settled on a really beautiful Italian mohair instead. This is not my forever sofa, so I figured I'll go with a nice fabric. I don't need to invest that much money. And it has a really nice piece. I really love it. It's really comfortable. How do I balance colors and pattern? My philosophy is, if it's pretty, pretty will always match with pretty. So that's my thing. As a perfect example here, when I say pretty, always goes with pretty. Also, anything goes with animal print. Like we all know animal print's a neutral, so you could really mix this into anything, really. I really find, again, that you could really mix everything together and layer, and that's what I love to do, is layering different textures, different fabrics, different patterns, different colors. You kind of notice that I really love gemstone colors. Like I mentioned before, I love malachite, I love coral and things like that. Again, really inspired by Tony Duquette. So speaking of Tony Duquette, this is probably one of my favorite pieces as well. I have a great story with this guy. This is the abalone chandelier from Tony Duquette. This is not the original, but I believe Hutton Wilkinson licensed this out to Baker Furniture years ago, and so they made a bunch of these chandeliers, and I managed to get my hands on one through an interior designer who originally had it hanging in her window in Pennsylvania. It was about 5 years ago that I found it and asked her how much she was selling it for, and she was like $12,000. And I kind of was like, do I want to buy that for $12,000? And I kind of was thinking about it, and I waited, and every year I would call her and say, what's going on with that chandelier? What are you doing with that? And she'd be like, it's yours for $10,000. So I would just kind of wait. And finally, I reached out to her a few years ago, and I said, how's it going? What's up with the chandelier? What are you up to? And she said, I'm closing my business. I'm moving down to Florida. The chandelier is yours for $3,000. You can come and pick it up anytime. So I drove over there, picked up this beautiful chandelier. It's all toll, so it's very heavy. And I honestly kept it in the trunk of my SUV for about 3 months, brought it upstairs, left it in my hallway for another 6 months, and then finally hung it maybe about 2 years ago. It's a gorgeous piece. It's so stunning. Obviously, when I had the gentleman hang it, I had to hang it a little low. So if you are not comfortable in here, or if you're maybe a little drunk or whatnot, people tend to hit their head on it. But I kind of like that because I like to laugh at people when they do that. But I'm comfortable in here, so I always know how to walk around it. I also recently started adding these little tassels to it, just again, adding some more layers. I think it just kind of gives it a little bit more. And as you can see here, I have some beautiful Scalamandre chairs. These were, every year, basically, I treat myself to like a big thing. So these were a treat to myself a few years ago. And they will be like a nice down payment on a home eventually, should I ever need to get rid of them. But I really enjoy them. They're really beautiful. I love the shape of them. Again, there's not a lot of space in this room, so it's very narrow. So it's just trying to have the right amount of seating, but also have enough room just to even be able to get by. So over here is kind of my bar cart area. Let's see. So you can see they're like really pretty. Let's see here. Aren't these cute? Should make them into a pillow or something. But I have a whole bunch of these. And yeah, I'm always like on the lookout for there's certain things that I collect. Gucci barware is one, taxidermy is another. And then I also collect specific pieces of china. So we'll see that when we get into my kitchen. But otherwise, this is my little more is more living room. So my guest room is even smaller than my living room, as you can see. I don't really love electronics and things like that. So I have a small TV in here. That's what this room is for, just to kind of hang out. As you can see, I really love red, if I didn't tell you that already. I recently had this whole room covered in Fornasetti wallpaper. I love the Fornasetti malachite wallpaper. So I had my guy Kurt come in and he did one wall for me here, and I kind of was like, oh, I love this. And I was like, let's see what happens if we kind of extend it over to the closet. So then I had him do the closet, and I was like, let's do the wall behind me. Let's do all over. So he just did everything. However, as kind of a wallpaper novice, I learned something. I didn't order enough rolls. So when he said he needed a couple more rolls, I decided to go with a different company that was still selling the same wallpaper. However, it was a different print, so the colors don't match up, and you can kind of see it a little bit throughout the room. So I have kind of adopted this Japanese thought on beauty called wabi-sabi, which is basically finding the beauty in imperfect things. So I would say wabi-sabi, or if there's something that's broken or chipped, I just say wabi-sabi. It's okay, it's what it is. But over here you can see this is kind of my red bed. I really, like I said, love the color red. I'm a Scorpio. It's kind of my color. It works for me. These were a treat to myself years ago. These are really beautiful from the, they're from the 19th century. They are stunning chinoiserie silk from France. These were beautiful panels that I kind of created this really nice canopy style daybed. I love a good old Nona blanket. So this is the, I'm sure if you have an Italian grandma, you probably have seen these, but these are the bedspreads that are commonly used in Italy. And I found a beautiful red satin one here, which really kind of, again, adds more to that drama of the room. I had my upholsterer, Angelo, completely reupholster this whole bed in a beautiful red velvet, had him make some bolsters for me as well. This is actually one of my favorite pieces here too. This is a really beautiful malachite table that kind of has like that Fornasetti feel to it. One of my favorite designers, Ken Folk, actually used the same table in one of his showrooms, and it just kind of shows that him and I have very good taste in things. So I was really happy to see that he used that. And then also, so this room here is totally off limits. It's my Monica Geller from Friends room that I use to throw all my junk in. So it's actually my bedroom, but it's not really designed. It's probably the most lived in room, but it's definitely not home-worthy. So we're gonna skip that room, but you know what? Maybe you guys will have me back in the future and we'll look at that room later. But moving over to here, again, I really just like to have beautiful pieces displayed. I love fragrances. Some of my favorite fragrances that I wear are like Penhaligon's, Halfeti. So that's why I smell so good today. Lots of Diptyque and things like that. I love a good boozy scent. So this is one of my favorites. But something I really need to talk to you guys about is this gorgeous lampshade that I actually just had custom made for me by a very talented designer in Maryland, Olive and Limpet. And I reached out to her and was like, hey, can you do a beautiful red shade for me that's in silk? And she put this together in 1 week and sent it to me. Gotta check her out. She's so good. She makes beautiful finials as well. The ceiling is really fun to look at too. I recently had the ceiling wallpapered in House of Hackney leopard print. And then of course this stunning chandelier I think really kind of pulls everything together. The chandelier is from the 1940s, it's from India, and it just has that beautiful ruby red that I love. And then of course I added again more tassels up at the top just to kind of give a little bit more of that little detail. This Gucci pillow was a little treat to myself a few years ago. I love it. And it just gives again a little bit more of that pop of that color. And I love using plates for decoration, of course. So we have some Fornasetti plates. This actually was purchased for me as a gift from a really good friend of mine, Nancy. I was collecting all the plates and I got a little out of hand with them. So now I just have it scaled down to just 3 of the Luke Edward Hall plates in my whole apartment, and they have the other ones hidden. But again, I like kind of the mix of the colors of the green and the pinks and the reds and things like that. And of course the animal print. Home for me is, well, I guess it's someplace that you could feel really comfortable in and totally be yourself and, you know, be totally at ease and at the same time really enjoy like your surroundings. I think for me that's really what home is.
Today on Homeworthy, we're taking you into the expertly curated and Art Deco Calabasas home of Jen Azoulay, the founder of vintage clothing and accessories showroom, Jen Wonders Studio. After going through extensive renovations, she created a home that is built for entertaining, with spacious rooms for gatherings and panoramic views of the California hills. She even gives us a sneak peek into her closet. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Jen Azoulay and welcome to my house in Calabasas. So in this hallway, I really wanted something really warm when people come in, have really already a vibe when they come in, just to know exactly what kind of house they're getting into. We put this beautiful Katie Whistler wallpaper, and pretty much everything here is vintage. We have like a Matisse painting and a very beautiful marble console. And yeah, I think this really gives the vibe already of what kind of a house you can expect when you come in, and that was kind of like the point. So the rug is from Jonathan Adler. So it starts always with like one piece, and I had this console that's marble black and green, so I kind of wanted to have the same tones, and there is a lot of snakes in the hills, so I felt like it was kind of like a nice little clin d'oeil just to, you know, welcome you in the house. So let me take you in the house now. We did so many renovations in this house. It's kind of like the, you know, such a labor of love. So the first thing I wanted to do when I arrived in this house was to redo the kitchen. I never really redid a kitchen in my older houses, and it was very important to have a strong kitchen in a house. That's where really we spend most of our times, especially on this table every morning with the kids at on this island, and it's kind of like the heart of the home. We used a beautiful quartz, natural quartz for this, and I really like the veins and the colors, so we kind of matched with very cool cabinets. This is kind of like a special way to do cabinets, they actually take the paper and melt it to the wood, and it gives this effect, so it's kind of nice. We changed all the appliances, and really we wanted to have a flow around the kitchen, and it came out really nicely. That's exactly what I wanted when I started this house. So the kitchen was very important. So these tools, I wanted to add a little color, and I was trying to get some of the color of the marble. So we found this cool 80s style, I will say, stools, and the color was kind of perfect and gave a little pop. And we also found this painting from a flea market, and that's where the color kind of flew in the kitchen, and we found the colorways that we really wanted to have in the, so it's like a green and pink and gray and all these colors that kind of match well together. So this is like the little breakfast nook. We have such cool RT dining plates there. They're like collectors, and I found them in a very nice vendor who had a few of them. So those are very special. They're actually numbered, and this nook is where really we are spending most of our time. I found also this that I framed. It's a poster from a gallery in Paris, and I took it because I like the design, but also this is the street where I was born in Paris, so it was kind of like a nice sentimental little, thing to have in my house in LA. Yeah, so that's really where we spend the most of our times when we have friends. Instead of, I really want them to go in the living room, but somehow they're all coming here and they're all having drinks and wait, and just talk with me while I'm cooking. So it's definitely the heart of the house. We really love this space. We cook pretty much everything, a lot of French dishes, Italians. It's really perfect to actually cook all those like big dinners, and I usually install all the food on the island, and everyone can serve themselves and do whatever they want, eat outside, eat inside. And yeah, it's kind of like a very lovely thing to do on the weekend, especially when we have more time to cook. I found this on First Dibs. Those are like from the Brutalist period, and I think it was very cool. My son thought it was like an iron board, which I don't think so. I think it's beautiful. But yeah, so we all have, I'm trying to find very cool vintage pieces that are very original all around the house. And I think that's what gives so much character to the house. What I really wanted also when I redid the kitchen was kind of like pocket doors and hide all the breakfast, coffee machine, and toaster and things like that are not very aesthetic in those pockets doors and this cabinet. And this is kind of like the breakfast place where everyone can go do their coffee, their tea, their toast, and then you close it and no one can see the mess. So this is definitely something I really wanted to do when I redid the kitchen. So the kitchen, it opens to the pool table, and this is kind of like a nook. We used to have the dining room here, but we felt it was a little too cramped. So we decided to invest in this replica of the 70s Al Hussein billiard table. And I have teenagers at home, and this is really one of the best buy I did in my life, because they are all coming here with their friends, and just between the kitchen and here, and that's where, kind of the magic goes, the laughing and the pleasure of like having everyone over. This is definitely a fun thing to have in a house, but also I really wanted to have the design to match with my aesthetic, so it was important to have this cool vintage replica. And this, and we had to put some kind of light over it to make it really kind of like a pool room. So this one is from Kelly Weissler. I really like the design of it. And then there is, I always try to pick art that goes with the color and the vibe of the room. Most of my art is old, and it's from flea markets and consignment stores and galleries. But yeah, so this is like a vintage poster. Yeah, so I really wanted this color palette, and the burgundy, the green, and this will actually go and float to the living room, the proper living room. Let me show you right now. So this is kind of like the living room and the dining room. It was an open space. Obviously, what I loved about this house was the view. It's the first thing I saw when I came in, and that's kind of why we bought the house. It was this view and this opening on nature. And so we kind of found all these things very vintage. Those are from Cherish, these crazy tables, Brutalist as well, 80s. And it was a very important thing to get always the colorway back. So you have the burgundy, you have the green on the dining chairs, but you also have now the light blue that we introduced with this painting as well. And it kind of takes all those colors together. And there is a replica of the Modigliani, and this is also Brutalist. It's an artist that I found online, and he does really cool things with metals. This marble fish is from Jonathan Adler from the 70s. And so yeah, it's really trying to keep those beautiful objects that I found all over and try to match them with whatever colorways we can, I can do. And what was important here is to have the dining room really being with the view. So when people have dinner, they can really enjoy the view. And that was kind of like the best way to add the dining table in this room. It's a little odd shape, so we tried to like do all these things. We found this beautiful mural as well, and that's also vintage. And I really liked these things. So this is like a wood board, but then this is like a metal sculpture that's over it. It's not signed or anything, I really love the style, and I felt like that was exactly the space for it. I usually buy things not knowing where to put them, and then put them in the garage, and like one day I'll find a space for them, which I always do. We added not long ago also this archway with Zelinge tiles from Morocco, and I wanted to do this archway because it was a straight line before, and I was having a little hard time having a separation between the first room and the second room. Everything was kind of too open. I did not want to kill the view, obviously, but I felt like the archway will make it a little more cozier. So I'm very happy with it. I use rugs also to kind of separate the rooms in the house. So you really have like one under the pool table, one for this area and one for the dining room. And I guess it's not really meant to be for me. It wasn't like a long thing where I'm like, I'm gonna do that. It just made sense in the room, and I think it really breaks down kind of like the areas. This one is from Nordic Knot, and just the colors, I really wanted something really warm that catch all the orange and the red from the pool table. And then the other one over there for the dining room is more in the green and blue, which catch the blue chairs and the painting. So it's pretty much like it's trying to be, all the colors goes together. You don't have to have walls to do separation. I think rugs can really do that for you. I've been collecting books for years. I'm a big fan of coffee table books, architectural books, design, fashion. At the end, I have so many. I just use what's really colorway works here, and also what makes sense. We have the book of a designer where you can find the light right here, so people can have kind of a sense of what they're looking for in the house. They usually have the book next to it. And yeah, it's just a colorway, different. What's very important, I used to work in visual merchandising, so what's very important for the eye is to have the objects that are flowing, not all in the same line or in the same height. And that's what I kind of learned when I was working and doing that. So I always try to have a very flowy thing with objects. Low, high, low, high. You want your eye to kind of go everywhere and find something pretty anywhere that your eye go. It's hard to describe my style. I feel like what I like the most is to collect beautiful pieces, and every time I change my house, I take the furniture with me and then I add more and add on. So I think this is a house that's very eclectic. I really wanted, because of the big volumes that we have here, I wanted something cozy. I didn't want something too cold. I wanted color. And so I feel like it's more about each piece of furniture, how they get together and actually match. It's a mixed match, and I like that. I think that's how I dress as well, and that's what I do things in fashion. Is like I like mismatch that is not supposed to be together, but somehow together makes a nice. So this is the view. What you see here, it's all the valley, Calabasas Hills, West Hills. It's very quiet, and you have deers coming in the morning, so it's pretty magical. So you've seen kind of like mostly of the ground floor, and let me show you the primary bedroom now. And this is the primary bedroom. I'm loving this place because we kind of broke the walls over there and added a whole thing. And this is kind of like this whole side of the house is for the parents. So it's very nice to have this kind of secluded place, which we have the kind of like the makeup room, the bathroom, and my closet, which is important. For the bedroom, we wanted something very cozy. We had a lot of windows, so a lot of light. It was important to have curtains that were really give us a very dramatic mood in the room to be more cozy. The furniture is kind of like a mix of black and gold and cream and everything that we kind of wanted to mix the things, and the kids can sometimes come and see us, and they like to sit here and have a little chat at midnight when they come home. So it's kind of nice to have the little chairs here, and it's actually a room where we spend a lot of Sunday morning here as a family. So we added this fireplace to also made it a very cozy place. We only use it maybe twice a year because it's Los Angeles, but it's nice to look at. We started this whole room with a very Art Deco vibe to it. We wanted to have this kind of velvet rounded bed, and we found those rounded little nightstand that are vintage from the 80s. These are CB2, and I don't know, it just worked together. And then we added this, we found it on Etsy. It's this artist that does them from Japan, and it's just a cool thing to have. And it was very the shape at this point. We were really looking at this rounded shape. Same for the table, the coffee table here. It's all rounded, and it gives a very warm feeling to the room. Yeah, so as well as art, I wanted something rounded as well. And this painting from Fong Min Liao is really gorgeous. I had it in my older house, but it just fits very well in the bedroom. The rug here is actually vintage, and we found it in a consignment store. I like to shop in consignment store. It's very important to me, just to be able to give a life to other things that people didn't want, and sometimes it fits pretty well in a new house. So. And now I'm going to show you the other part of the primary bedroom, which is, this is where I put my makeup. It's a very cozy place to me. It's kind of like a boudoir in French, we say it. I love the view on the trees, and it's my special place to be quiet and away from everything else. This is the bathroom. We redid it all. So the tiles were the first thing, and then we kind of built the bathroom around it. And so we decided to go for something very Art Deco, kind of like this vanity that's kind of old school, and it goes pretty well with the bathtub. The bathtub also, I wanted something absolutely not modern and very 50s and 60s and all those times where women take time for themselves. And then we had to be practical, so we put a shower there, and we just put some, Carrara marble on it. And I really liked those mirror. You can move them, and I think it gives really this vibe of the 30s. What was very important when I moved here is I told my husband I needed a room just for my closet. And we kind of built this closet to be completely open. That way I can see well. I did not want any doors or anything. For me, it was important to be in my space and being creative. I have a website that sells vintage designs. So I customize the pieces that are vintage and sell one-of-a-kind blazers and things like this. So here it's somewhere where I like to be and work and kind of make the outfits. And I can show you some of my beautiful vintage pieces that I love. There is some kind of blazers. There is things like this. I love vintage jewelry as well. So those are kind of the pieces Gen 1 the studio that I customize. Those are vintage, and I like to add gorgeous brooches and remove all the buttons and really make it very special. This one is also one I love, which is a Ralph Lauren vintage jacket, but it was embroidered with all little flowers. So this is kind of the space where I just have fun. So I started a business a few years ago called Gen 1 the Studio, and it started with those kind of jackets, customized, vintage, but then slowly he evolved it to a very big vintage website where I sell vintage jewelry like this, and then beautiful vintage from Saint Laurent from the 80s, 90s. And now it's a full-on website and company. So that's where I put the jewelry. I have those Yves Saint Laurent vintage from the 80s. I have these gorgeous pieces that are from Cellar. Those are really special vintage fashion jewelry that I really, really enjoy. I have a big thing with glasses. I have a lot of sunglasses. Try to be organized as well, and I love my shoes, so I see them all here. I can really pick what I need, and it's just easier that way. I like to create kind of like a colorway, kind of like a rainbow, to know exactly where things are and it'll go faster. I like to also display my bags as kind of like a piece of art, because sometimes they are. I got this Hermes in Japan, and it's very special to me. So you have a special place here on a shelf. Some of my cute Chanel special bags. And make it as a display. I feel like accessories can be as beautiful as furniture sometimes, so I don't see why not exposing them if we have room. So I really like to do that. The hunt for the right vintage piece is my favorite thing, and I spend all my Sundays in flea markets and vendors, and it's a big community, the vintage community in Los Angeles, and I love it. My favorite vintage market in LA is Long Beach. It's really just very big, and you can find a lot of different things. I found a lot of my furniture there, and a lot of the clothing I resell as well. So let's go downstairs, but first I wanted to point out the banister. It was original to the house, and at the beginning I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it, but I feel like now that I put a lot of different art, vintage Picasso, or this actually was when I was working for Dior, and one of my colleagues drew it for me. So it's very sentimental pieces as well. So now I feel like it goes well with the banister, so I'll keep it. So the downstairs is where we wanted to do something. We kind of redid everything here. It was not like that at all. We removed the hardwood floor and put some big tiles, because everyone that goes in the pool just comes here with the weight feet, all the kids. So we wanted to have this space kind of like the TV room, much less formal, and that's where kind of like we open all the windows in the summer and everyone is like back and forth between outside and inside, and we wanted something a little more neutral, just to not take away from the view and the pool and the beautiful mountains. It was hard to find a big sectional sofa that I wanted, and I had this one. It was a vintage one. It was pink at the time. We decided to keep it and reupholster it completely, and we choose to do different chairs, different color, different design. The inspiration behind it was the Mahjong from Roche-Beaubois, and so we kept what we had and made it our own. And we wanted to kind of separate it, so those are vintage marble side tables. This was actually the collaboration between Athena and Crate and Barrel, the table, which I really love, this organic shape. The rug is from Nordic Nuts as well. I have a lot of their rugs. I think they're amazing. These chairs were also sourced and vintage, as well as the little table and pretty much everything else you see here beside the coffee table and the rug. And for the colors, I wanted something neutral but with some interest, and that's why we kind of went for neutral tones but with prints. Added some touch of burgundy to kind of remember what the upstairs is, and we redid the whole fireplace, and that's I love what we did here. It was very different, and I just love those tiles that has like a design to it, and those are actually tiles. It looks like it's not, but it's very special. I really like the job what they did here. And those very beautiful clay lamps are from Clayp, C-L-A-Y-P. Very cute too. And it really gives this like earthy vibe to the living room that I really wanted with the pool. So from this TV room, you can go here. You have a little bar for, drinks and fun like this. This chair is from Hans Wagner, and it's from the 50s. I had it for many, many years, and I think that's at the end always trying to put the stuff I have and the collectibles I have in a new house wherever I go. This room gets us to the office/music room because I got some musicians in the house. This desk was sourced in New York, and it's vintage. I love the different marble they're using here. And then the office chair is from Mario Bellini as well. And yeah, this is the music room where the music and fun happens. I don't play, but a lot of them do. So this room is started by, okay, my husband needed an office in a house, and then slowly it became a music room. And I think it's cool, it's great. And at least it's, they can come here and play when they need to. We created this room, it did not exist before, and then we wanted to really have this big window open to the pool to have the whole view. When my husband works from here, he can really actually enjoy the view and the pool. And we also added a bathroom here. They didn't have a bathroom downstairs. So it's the perfect bathroom for guests, kids that come out of the pool. So we wanted something simple. As well, you can find these very earthy tones. So we added kind of like odd shade mirror with the little light. Those are CB2. And then again, I really like those tiles that we used. And then I framed this piece of art, also vintage, that I found at the flea market. So this bathroom is definitely very practical because they get out of the pool, they just come, they use the restroom, they take a shower. So it's a much more like open. I needed like very open bathroom. I didn't want to be too crowded. So So the downstairs area is definitely a lot of hosting, but more for the kids. I mean, we have obviously some friends that come for barbecue and things like that, but 90% of the time, this whole area beside the music room where we don't have too much the kids hanging out, but otherwise they all here, all their friends, and they take the pool and they watch TV and they play video games and they use this bathroom. This is my happy place. So this is the pool side, and we had to change the pool and redo it, but the shape was that way, and I really love the odd shape, and I love that it's an infinity pool on the hills, and at night it's pretty spectacular with all the lights. And this is where we like to hang out. I liked this rounded big area to have like the happy hour and enjoy the view and a glass of wine at the end of the day. It's my favorite. The hot tub is really special because at night you can sit there and actually have the view on the city, and it's pretty beautiful. So under here I like to host a lot of dinner parties and lunches, and that's kind of like how I set it up. Usually I found those cool lights that remind me very much of Ibiza, and that's kind of like the vibe I wanted here, very summery. And then yeah, I set it up. I have plates with fishes. I have an obsession with fish. And then, you know, I love beautiful colors, fruits and vegetables, and make it very summery right now. Well, there is a beautiful butterfly that just passed. We're surrounded by nature. We have rabbits and deers and coyotes and things like this here, and beautiful animals, and we just live with them at this point. We are one with nature. When I do a table, I like to mix and match as well. I do like to have a colorway though, and this is from Crate and Barrel. This very thick linen tablecloth, but then this is vintage, and the blue and the green just goes very well with the surroundings that we have, all the palm trees and the water and things like this. So it's always nice to switch, mix and match, and I think that's what makes it a little more interesting for a table. So we have like 2 bench and then 2 chairs, and they're like, you know, wood benches, and I wanted to do something very natural, nothing too fancy outside, just because first of all, with all the kids and the mess, it's just a waste, but also it's this very Mediterranean vibe that I have outside that I wanted to keep. I didn't want to do something too fancy. So it's very abrupt, a lot of wood and a lot of linen, and the view talks for itself.
Today on Homeworthy, we're bringing you to Birmingham, Alabama for a look inside the stunning and unique home of lifestyle and home decor blogger Danielle Yancey. Built in the 1960s, this one-of-a-kind home combines a European feel with modern touches, featuring graceful arches, towering ceilings, and expansive rooms. Inspired by the glamour of old Hollywood and the vibrant style of Palm Springs, Danielle has artfully incorporated these elements into her decor. She gives us a tour of the outdoor space, which is equally impressive, with a gorgeous pool and 2 circular courtyards, before heading down to her sensational wine cellar. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Danielle Yancey, and welcome to my home in Birmingham, Alabama. Come on in. home we've lived in for about 7 years. And this entryway was the spot when I first walked in this home and saw the reflection of the courtyard and the pool. And that's what just kind of took my heart. It was such a beautiful moment walking through this foyer, and we weren't really looking for a new home because we had built one about 4 years prior, and we're getting settled into the house. And we decided just to take a peek at this home because we had seen some pictures online and just walked in and just fell in love with it. So our foyer here actually also duplicates into our dining room. So for bigger events, we bring out tables and chairs and bring out this whole big setup for a dining party. And this dining room, it's so interesting because it's so open, and you have this view of the exterior of the house. So you have this gorgeous view of the courtyard and of the front area, and it's like nature coming in into view with your experience inside your home. And this marble table, I just decided to put a simple round table in here as an entry table, but it also transforms into our dining room table too. And the antique doors in the house, there's 3 sets of antique doors. One set is here at our front door. And these are from New Orleans. The original owner had purchased some beautiful antiques from New Orleans and incorporated them into this house. And these doors are original to the home. And I don't know what type of wood they are, but they are gilded with gold. Our home is definitely a mix of so many elements. So we have floor to ceiling windows, we have brick archways, we have antiques, we have very new, modern looking items in our home. So it's got a different mix of elements in our home. The architectural style, I wish I could actually meet the original architect of this house, Fritz Whaley, and just interview him about the home and where his mind was, because it was so just forward and ahead. This home has a mix of, I would say, a European, modern, esque elements to it because of all of the arches, and then you've got the modern floor to ceiling windows, and then there's also some traditional and antique elements that are so beautiful, like the chandelier. And so a lot of the lighting in this home is original to the home, and I've kept, you know, a lot of the pieces that were original to this home, and I've kind of updated and changed a few things and made some modernizing of the home. When I walked into this home, the first thing when I saw that pool and the courtyard and the windows, my heart immediately leapt to a Hollywood glam, a Palm Springs kind of feel to the home. And that's where my mind went as soon as I saw it. And I love mixing elements. I love mixing silver, I love mixing gold. I have this huge disco ball that I found, and when I saw it, it just made me want to add it into this home and mix that kind of like Hollywood glamour, Palm Springs style into the home. And that kind of started this whole addition of disco balls and modern glam, like the lacquered black furniture with the crystal knobs and hardware. And so I really wanted to incorporate a lot of gold and black because a set of antique doors that's in our living room really spoke to me and brought in that black element and gold element into the home. Every room is a little different, but it all kind of comes together. We have, I believe, 7 fireplaces in this home, and they are unbelievable. We have actually changed, I believe, every single fireplace. This is a see-through fireplace. It's a double fireplace. So there's one on this side and one on the other side in the living room. And we actually do turn on our fireplaces. You would be surprised in a home in Alabama how often we do use them, because especially on this side of the house. The original part of this house is built in 1963. And back in 1963, I am assuming, and I don't know, but the double paned glass was not put in on this original side of the house. So all of the glass on the original side is a one panel glass. So it gets really cold in the winter and then really warm in the summer. And we do have our heating and cooling system, but it works a lot. And it's nice to have that additional fireplace heat to walk in. Also here in our dining room foyer, we have some artwork. And this artwork is from a local artist as well as my dog, Trooper. So Trooper actually hand painted this artwork. And if you look closely, you'll see his paw prints all throughout the artwork. And this is his little toy that we had at the time, his little frog. And the artist this was actually for a charity, Hand and Paw, and it's an animal-assisted therapy program where animals will go into facilities and help those that may be anxious or scared, and this is just a therapy animal in different facilities in Birmingham. So this was for charity. He walked across it, put his paw prints in it. Then Beth Bradley, the local artist, also takes this and then finishes it with what she has in mind. So you don't really know what's going to happen. You choose the colors, and then it's presented at the night of the event, which is super special. And so she decided to put a portrait of us because of the love we had. When I found him, he was a rescue on the side of the road, and he had really bad mange, so he had no hair and he was skin and bones, but he's brought back to life. He's here with us today, and we have a special bond from that night of finding each other on the side of the road. And so that's super special. I put it up front because I feel like it has this kind of grayish silver color that kind of matches up front. The other two pieces of artwork we have in the foyer is a local artist as well. I love the abstract look, and the black and the gold and the ivory just fits so well for this foyer and kind of pulled that black and gold into this room too. All right, why don't I show y'all the living room? It's right off the foyer entryway, and it's also got the other side of the fireplace that connects to the foyer. And this fireplace is just the same. It's identical to the other side. It has the fireballs in it. And this beautiful marble mantle that's original to the house. This is also an antique that they had brought in. And that's another thing with the fireplaces. Every fireplace has this unique mantle or some type of setting to it. And so this is beautiful. I love how it incorporated this kind of soft, kind of floral, feminine look to the room, which made me want to include a lot of pinks and floral notes to this room as well to make it a little more feminine, but bring in some masculine too. But the doors that I spoke about, the antique doors, this is the set of doors that I just went after. And I was like, I really want to incorporate a lot of the black and gold through the house. And I just love these doors. They are just the hardware itself, the gold, the floral notes here, the bow just has a lot of feminine in here. I added this beautiful antique column here to hold this marble sculpture. And this marble sculpture, actually my dad did. So he sculpted this back in, I want to say he was probably in college still, but he was an art major in college at Auburn University, and he has a lot of artwork throughout our house. And another piece that's in this room that he did is this charcoal of this woman, and I've had all of his artwork framed and matted and added throughout the house. So this is one of his. So he did that in 1969, and it just makes it really special to have those pieces of his. And then the pink rug, I just felt like brings in that feminine note here, and it's just unique to the house. This is actually a faux orchid, although it does look so real. I do forget sometimes not to water it because it is not real. These velvet chairs are swivel chairs. They're made by Jonathan Adler. I think this is one of my favorite things in the house, these chairs. But I found those, that's one of the first things that I found when I was putting things together in the house. So every time I found something, it really helped bring things in my mind together and how to, what's the next step? What's the next thing to add? So my background is I was a buyer for Parisian, and I guess I was in the buying side of things for about 10 years. And then I went to contract work for some retailers. And then my next jump was into some interiors, doing some Christmas decorating. That led to some other decorating jobs. So I was kind of doing a lot of jobs, odd jobs here and there. I did some modeling jobs too, and that was so fun. And then when we built our home, my job was to decorate that home entirely. And so it just brought out my creative side. My dad's an artist. I didn't get quite all of those talents, but my talents are just on the creative side of just fashion and interiors. I just love putting together colors and textures, and it's been so much fun. When we found this house, my mind was going in 500 different directions because it's such a different type of home, and really not much from our other house made it to this house. It started here, but then it just kind of like started to dwindle off. I would sell some things here and there. And so everything just kind of like started to evolve here at this house in a whole different direction. This is just something that I have a passion for, and it's brought a lot of life to my blog, and I love to incorporate a lot of home and just interiors into my blog as well. Floor-to-ceiling windows, I believe, are 14 feet throughout this original part of the house. As you go through the rest of the house, they start increasing. But this side of the house, they're about 14 feet. And to bring in, there's just a lot of linear moments in this house with these arches that you see on the exterior that you see also in the interior. So I had to think about balancing all of this linear tall look. Here's one thing that did make it from our other house to this house. So these mirrors I did have in our other house. We did not have the height that we do in this house, but I added these mirrors here, and I feel like it helps balance some of the height in this room. And also this tree, I love plants and live things too, as well as faux, but this fiddly fig kind of brings some height to the corner of the room. I have this turquoise artwork with a black bird holding, it looks like mistletoe maybe, but my nephew, who's a senior in college now, he made that when he was like in elementary school and gave it to me, and I just love adding that little pop of blue in here with the pinks. So that kind of made me want to incorporate a few more touches of turquoise and blue through this room. So I added these Jonathan Adler throws and these pillows from a local artist, and then just a couple of glass turquoise finds, that glass turquoise vase, and then this glass turquoise ball over here, just to pop a little bit of a contrasting color in here to balance some of the ivory and pinks and golds. All right, well, let's go down the hallway and see some of the bedrooms that are original to the 1963 part of the house. This is the original primary suite of the house, built in 1963, and it is very high ceilings. Again, it's their 14-foot ceilings. There is a lot of fabric on the windows behind, and these are the original fabric panels, curtain panels that were on the windows. And I've loved having them in here. I loved the color, so that kind of like brought what color I wanted to bring into this room. It also faces the pool, so these doors open up to the pool, and so that also made me want to add blue into this room to kind of bring that blue pool water look into this room. This is the third set of the antique doors that are original to the house, and these are more cream and gold, and it has the same bow and floral features above it. And it's just, I love all the, even though they're not new and they're cracked and they need maybe some painting and trim work detailing, I just love that. I love that contrast of old and new in every room in this house. There is marble throughout this home on the floor, and it's all Alabama white marble. And throughout this original part of the home, it has more grays and gold veining throughout. And then as you make it through the newer part of the house, you're gonna see it transform into a little bit more pink. But this is such a beautiful, like the floors, everything that these floors have seen, I cannot imagine from the 60s till now, but these are their original floors as well. I brought in a lot of silvers as well as gold in this room to play off of those blues and just make it really serene. I have these Jonathan Adler chairs that have some black metal and then acrylic and then this turquoise velvet to soften it up, and also this acrylic and gold bench with velvet. And then I have the mirrored glass side tables as well as the lamps and a few mirrored pieces in here too. All right, coming off of the primary bedroom is the ensuite, and here is the bathroom. We've kind of updated a few things. We've got a new toilet in. We have this beautiful tub, and then this beautiful marble that was here from the beginning. We are going to renovate this bathroom soon and add a shower in here. So some things will become new in this bathroom. I added some Audrey canvases in here and just felt like the black and white just played off well with this black and white and silver theme. And I've got some really beautiful rose metal light fixtures and some accessories in here too to kind of bring in that silver and white. I added just a few components in here, accessories to kind of like add some glam, modern glam. I added this rug that has this geometric like silver and ivory look. I added this ball that's on top of this marble that's actually these metal roses. And I just thought that would bring in a little bit of feminine look to the bathroom and bring in also that silver and then just some modern glam that kind of plays off of the Audreys to bring in. Since this primary bedroom is original to home, the owner of the home, she was here. She created this home. It was her home. So I wanted to bring in some more feminine elements to this home because it was a female owner of this house that built it. And so I really loved bringing in some of those elements and some feminine touches to this bathroom. So here is our kitchen. This is, I think this kitchen was renovated in '95 when they added on to the house, and it's expanded. It's actually so interesting. Half of this kitchen used to be like a little entertaining card room, library, little reading room. So they opened it up and created this really large kitchen, and I really love how open it is. You'll notice that the ceilings in here are the lowest ceilings in the house. And so the ceilings are low because above us there's actually a bedroom and also some attic space up there for the air conditioning units and all the electrical. So it's definitely, when I walked in the first time I saw this kitchen, I was like, wow, why is the kitchen so low? But now it kind of makes it cozy and I like it, especially in the winter. I feel like it really gets warmer in the kitchen and it's nice, but it's definitely a cozier place in this house. They had a lot of professional appliances put in, so that was really nice. We have a large amount of room in our refrigerator and freezer. We have a big range, very much an entertaining space. So this home has been used for many different parties since we've lived here, and I know before us they entertained quite a bit. So it does make for an easy flow and an easy way to entertain. When I walked into the kitchen, I really wanted to find a table that spoke to this room and kind of helped kind of bring some modern look to it. And I love this lacquered table, this oval tulip shaped base, and it just adds a new shape into this house. And I love the tulip shaped chairs and the white lacquer on it. I like to keep things pretty clean in here. We have a lot of mirrors on our wall. We're actually going to do a renovation on this kitchen and a couple of other bathrooms and bedrooms in the house and finalize our renovations, because we've kind of been renovating here and there since we've moved in. And so the mirrors will no longer be in the house after we finish our renovation. So it's gonna really change the look of this room. The one thing when I moved into this house, and as I lived in it and cooked and spent some time in the kitchen, I really couldn't see the pool. And I love this fireplace so much. This is original mantelpiece from New Orleans. It's antique and it's hand carved wood. It's a beautiful mirror that matches. We will find a new home for this because we are planning on taking this wall out and the chimney and the fireplace out so that you can see that beautiful pool. It's the view. I think just seeing it just makes you happy, but just being able to see outside is so fun. But this, I'm so sad, will not be staying with the house once we finish the renovation. I decided to frame this cute little letter that we received, I guess it was July 26th of last year, 23. We were left this letter. We actually rented our home, and we don't ever rent our home, but we were approached last year to rent our home to a special guest in Birmingham. And he left us this letter, he and his wife, thanking us of opening our home while they were in Birmingham. And we moved out and they moved in and they stayed here for 2 to 3 months, but it was Matthew McConaughey and his whole family. And we just cherish this note that they left us. So we were still in Park City when they left the note, and our real estate agent that approached me, he was the one that approached me to rent our home. He was like, would you want to rent your home for a A-list celebrity? And I was like, I don't know. What is going on? I thought it was a joke at first. And so he came over to visit and we talked about it, and it just started developing. I was like, well, we're actually not gonna be here this summer. We're gonna be in Park City. It could work out. We've got to finish up some things with a renovation we had been doing last year, and it was a lot at once, and we were like approached very last minute. They had looked at like 50 homes in Birmingham, and so we were one of the last ones on the tour of homes, and it was just a lot going on for a month before we got approached and moved out. But it worked out, and it was just crazy. I still can't believe it happened because we weren't even here. So it was like we handed our keys over, left, and then came back and everything was just the same. So we were like, did it happen? But we heard all about Birmingham and all the excitement in Birmingham, and how they had, you know, the McConaughey spottings everywhere. And so we were like, we think it happened. But when they left the note, our real estate agent came over to like check everything, and we were still in Park City, and he sent me a picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. He left us a note. So we'll keep that forever and keep it framed. So these are our pantry doors on each side of the banquette. That side kind of houses more of the china, the plates, all of the fun decor and placemats. This side we keep all of the food in. However, we're going to lose this pantry during the renovation, and we're going to create a new set of stairs to the upstairs bedroom. Right now the stairs are very steep, they're not Deco'd, so we're going to create an easier way to get upstairs and actually be able to use the space and have guests there. And this is actually the cutest little nook. It's this hidden door that houses like some cleaning and a trash can, but I love that hidden door. Like hidden doors, there's a few hidden doors throughout the house. It just kind of is very sleek and you might not even see it. In fact, the door that goes to the bedroom upstairs, we looked at this house 3 different times before really deciding on, okay, yes, let's do this. The 3rd time we looked at the house, I was like, what does that door go to? And we didn't even know about the bedroom that was upstairs. So that was kind of a surprise addition the 3rd time we looked at this house. Let's go take a peek outside and show you the pool, the patio, and more. All right, so we are outside in our courtyard, and this is one of our favorite places to be and like to hang out outside. Our dog loves coming out here to hang out in the grass and on the concrete by the pool. He's like a pool lounger out here. And so we have a lot of different spaces to enjoy and just relax out here or entertain. Our pool is so unique because it is a square. And we have these beautiful round dish type planters. They're huge planters out here by the pool. So they're on each corner of the pool. This is all original to the house. The white rocks, the planters, the square pool. And we did do some renovation work to the pool just this spring. So we had all of the decking repainted, and we had the pool cleaned, and we added new tile to the pool to freshen it up. It needed it. And so it's just got this now fresh, clean look. It's so nice to come out and enjoy the pool. The courtyard also has an upper and a lower courtyard area. The lower courtyard area is original to the house, and you can see that it has this circular shape to the grass and the brick around the grass, and then it has a half moon shape beyond that on the far wall. And this grass, it's so thick and so healthy. I love it. There in the center of the grass, it has this beautiful marble urn, and I added the concrete balls to the urn to match back to the marble. To match back to the fireballs in the house. But on this marble urn, you'll see this Greek key detailing. And I just love that Greek key detailing on the urn. And I also love the Greek key detailing on the iron gates that are original to the house. These gates are antique, and I just love that detailing. So there's 4 sets of these gates. And that Greek key also I've incorporated through the house, and you'll see just little touches of Greek key here and there, and it's all because of those from the outside. This lower courtyard, these are camellia hedges on each side of the wall. The camellia hedges had a really bad freeze 2 winters ago. We're still coming back from that hard freeze on this side of the whole wall, the boxwoods, everything. Got these beautiful roses growing along the lattice work back here behind this statue. The statue reminded me of one of my dogs, Sweet Pea, who's passed. And so I put this statue back here with the roses because she's such a beautiful little girl. I wanted her to have roses behind her. And so this lower courtyard also has these boxwoods that have been here for years, probably since the 60s. These hydrangeas, that have just exploded. They're just now coming off their bloom, so they're more of an antique bloom right now. Towards the end of the summer. And then also there's roses on each side of the wall that bloom, and it's just a beautiful garden. It's has a very serene look. You get to see the hawks. We have deer in the back. We've seen fox before. We have coyotes. Feel like we have a wildlife National Geographic back here sometimes, but we love seeing the deer come up behind our house and all of the wildlife. And so our pool house is right here off of the pool, and we have 2 bedrooms and a living room in the pool house. And this is the pool house living room. It has a lot more fun vibe in here, a lot more relaxing, more like a gaming area, entertaining area for kids or for my husband watching football on Saturdays. There is definitely a Hollywood glam vibe in here, and brought and incorporated a little bit more blues in here because of the pool and some watery features. I love this Slim Aaron's artwork on the wall. It just screams to me Palm Springs and take me there now. But I just love how the ladies are sitting by the pool having their cocktails and enjoying company together, and I just love that whole look and that whole vibe. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that in the pool house. And there's a lot of mixture of elements in this pool house. There's acrylic, there's gold, there's velvet, there are pinks, blues, just yellows, and all kinds of Hollywood glam. There's white lacquer in here with some geometric shapes. I added the fireballs in the fireplace with this glass fire screen, and this is an original mantelpiece also with the marble and the engraved roses. And I added Jonathan Adler light fixtures in here with these beautiful blue globo sconces and the chandelier, just mixture of all kinds of elements and color, and just wanted a really fun vibe in here. And I have some plants, some live plants, and then some faux plants in here too. And this table, I know Matthew McConaughey did a few news hits at this table because of the artwork behind him. So that was kind of fun to see on TV. But my husband did, he's been working out here in the pool house some, so he uses this sort of as his office sometimes. And this bedroom, so this whole area was renovated recently. So this bedroom had a concrete flooring. We added the marble floor into the bedroom, just really updated it, cleaned it up. Had a carpet originally, so we took the carpet out, added the marble tile, and just made it, added a new light fixture, just kind of gave it a new vibe, clean space in here. And the bathroom was updated. We have a new shower in there, and we updated the closet and the vanity as well. All right, let's head back outside. I have more courtyard to show you. And this is our upper courtyard, and this also was not here previous to 95. So in 95, when they added the side of the house to the original of the 1963 house, this was all woods up to the windows. So they cleared this area and kind of mimicked, and they added this circular pattern up here that is symmetrical to the lower courtyard area. So there's the circular brick walkway and the circular grass. The beautiful antique doors to the living room open up to this upper courtyard. And they added these circular brick openings, and for these 2 beautiful Japanese magnolia trees. This is just such a spectacular piece to the house. When you're walking through the house, you'll see this tree, and both of the trees really on each side when you're walking through the house. And this side is especially spectacular. This is our bathroom on this side, so you really don't see it as much unless you're living in that space. This is our covered patio, and I love sitting out here watching TV, eating dinner, having a glass of wine. It's just very relaxing. It's super enjoyable during the fall season, and looking forward to that, sitting out here a lot more when it cools down. But this upper courtyard, I love all the ferns, and there's maidenhair ferns. There's just all of these different types of ferns that are growing throughout this little area and these little corner nooks. So we're going into the bar, and this is transitioning into the part of the house that was built in 1995, and this is a special part of the house. There is a tile here set in marble, and it's engraved with the year 1963 and 1995. 1963 is on this side of the house, and 1995 is this way. So I love that. That's just a special part of the house. This is the hallway to the bar. I decided to add all of my dad's artwork on this wall and have this collage of everything that he did. And it shows the years. There's some in 1969, 70, and 71. But they're all, what's so interesting is fashion inspired. And that's what I ended up being my major, was fashion merchandising. So I loved having that. This bar is almost like a second kitchen, but it is very nice to have. This bar is perfect for entertaining. So just getting back here, it's nice to have friends over or a party and have this whole bar just devoted to beverages. And so we have a beverage center back here, some dishwashers back here. We also have really unique shaped sofa. It's a curved green velvet sofa. We have a curved lamp over it. A lot of black accessories in this room. So I found this black and white rug with geometric shapes, and this black lacquered console table, and then some other black accessories. This marble round table and velvet chairs, it's like a little gaming table or just a table to have some calls or coffee. But it's just a beautiful view to the courtyard and this tree. So this tree is behind that circular brick wall that's in the courtyard. And this tree is just so spectacular, and it's actually growing into the brick. One of the limbs is actually growing into the brick up here. So I thought that was so neat. The ceiling height in here starts to get higher. So it'll get higher in our living room next to this room. And so there's a lot of height here. I added light fixtures in here. I added sconces and this light fixture just to add some element to the height of this room and bring your eye up. So the other art piece that our dogs did is up on this wall. So our two dogs, Sweet Pea and Willie, that are no longer with us, and they are in heaven, but they did this painting with hand and paw as well. Their paw prints are all in it, and an artist finished out this artwork locally too. So that was their artwork, and I'm so thankful to have that and their paw prints. And now we're going into our living room space. And this living room space is so bright, it has so much light in here too. This is facing our courtyard and the pool across the way. And I decided to add a lot of blues in here and incorporate some pops of color to bring in that Hollywood glam and just a really fun vibe. This is where we spend the majority of our time watching TV and hanging out. So I have this really fun geometric pattern rug and then some pattern pillows that go with this velvet blue sectional. This has a lot of room to seat a lot of people, or just us three laying on the sofas, Trooper, me, and Bart. So we all have our space to lay and be able to watch a movie or a show. And this artwork above the TV is super special to me. It's my favorite, I think, in the whole entire house. This artwork is of Sweet Pea, of Willie, and Trooper. So Willie was probably around 14 when we did this, and I really wanted an artwork that had incorporated all three of their paw prints in the artwork. So their paw prints are all in the artwork. They each got to pick a color and walk across the canvas. And then John Little, a local artist, finished off the artwork, and he decided to do a portrait of all three of them together with this lots of color. I just said, go for color. I would love pink. And I love that he chose the pink clouds. So that's super special to me. I also have added a lot of balloon dogs in here. And since I love dogs and they're very special to me, I decided that would be a fun pop art type of thing to add to this space. So there's a lot of balloon dogs in all different colors. It kind of incorporates all the colors in this room. I have a lot of acrylic, a lot of glass, a lot of silver and gold. I just keep mixing all of the elements throughout the house just to kind of let it play off of each other and not focus on one. This fireplace has very, very tall columns, and it is original to the house, and I did change out the fireplace to fireballs. Let's go downstairs. I'm saving the best for last, and I'm going to show you something really special. So I said this house was built for entertaining, and here's proof of definitely the entertaining spot of the house. The best for last, here's the wine cellar. This was here when we moved into the house. We did renovate it last year, and we updated a lot of different things, the racking and some marble tops on the counter in here. But this space has really opened up for entertaining and enjoying. I added some sofas down here, some tables so we can actually sit here. And it's really cold down here, so it feels really good during the summer. So come on in, I'm gonna show you the wine cellar. So here is our wine cellar, and this has been such a fun space, especially since we've kind of updated it. We updated the system, the racking, this countertop. And this wine cellar, we're just starting to add to it. So it looks a little empty right now. It looks a little sad, but we're gonna keep adding to it. Right now, I think the racking probably holds, we probably could hold thousands of bottles in here. It's a really big wine cellar. And this space was here when we moved in, so we have just kind of opened it up and renovated it a little bit. It had black racking before. We have this gold racking and this white countertop space, and I feel like it leans more towards what I had envisioned for the house and this Palm Springs look, so it kind of modernizes it a little bit. And I kept all of the wood elements in here the same, so all of that is original, and it just has a beautiful space now. It's lightened up, and I love that they incorporated originally these arches in here and the windows and the arched doors and the arches on the back wall to go back with the architecture of the house, with the arches on the front and the brick archway in the courtyard. And so I love that they incorporated and kept that architecture down here as well. Has just a lot of European feel too. So this room is one of our favorites, and we've enjoyed it, and we're enjoying adding to it. So home means comfort to me, and family and entertaining here at this house. Homeworthy, it's been an honor and so amazing to have you here today. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.